They are, look, it's like, is there two of them?
Three, I think.
Three?
Two, three.
Having a party. Oh, yeah. Well, sorry to move you on so rudely. Okay, so with some more recent early discoveries. Things from under the ivy. Firstly, looking down the south view onto the park, what would have been the park, and the veranda would have been round here. If you see the old pictures, I'll try and put one up, you will see like a round turret shape extension to the house, just a small one. That would be like the view over the gardens from the back, past the servants' quarters, past there, would be probably joined onto the library, round at its base. And I've covered this just previously in a very short video the other week, but that would be just in front of where I'm stood now, and that would have gone up towards the first floor. Being at the top of this wall you can see in front of you would be in fact the ground floor of the house, so anything under that would be subterranean, cellar and so on as well. So I think Alan and Chrissy and Carl and Andrew have been to work on the ivy and covered this. You can see where it would have joined the wall all the way around. Those lovely chiseled, carved round stones. I've only ever found, I think, one more outside of here, and then more huge bits of masonry. There's a couple there, but they seem to have been stripped off and used and taken elsewhere. Maybe have been of use to somebody. And that would be the back centre here. So you can see it wasn't very wide, probably only about 8 or 9 foot wide, maybe 10 foot tops circumference. And the back there, all that was overgrown. You can see all the views it would have had without these trees in the way, obviously would have been quite spectacular. I'll take you down there now so you can see, for anybody that hasn't been, you can see just how the views should have been. Around here would all have been landscaped around some very nice coniferous bushes and roses further down. From that vantage point up over there, just behind between where you can see there's two trees are, we've come down here and looking over what was then the park, you'd see what today is the cowsheds, Milner Field farm. The Downs family still farming that land, even today, over 100 years it's been in their family. And there, that's a view. None of those houses the other side would have been there. It would have just been beautiful open farming land, countryside, and then you would have, you know, your sunsets in the west over there. Just absolutely beautiful view. So going on from here, the next part is just around the corner from that garden roundhouse. That's just down the way, a stone's throw literally, and it's right over here what would have been the steps up from this park from the veranda up to the house. And as we come around here you can see that higher plateau there, that's where the house would have stood. You see the big mound there is all rubble and masonry, which we haven't got into yet, might be a while. But there are some things up there. There are some ironworks up there. I'm just going to circumnavigate around the other side, and here you can see again the wall, around the wall going all the way down, and come to this part. Got the remains of the base of what would have been veranda steps down. One of the steps there, I think. again, all been reclaimed. You can see the central part there, and then a bit of space underneath. This staircase would have come all the way down on both sides, and as you can see there, decorative, simple decorative stones would have adorned the sides, and this type of thing as well, where we've got these post stones. We've been shown some of this before, but never from underneath the ivy like this. You can see there a mixture of red brick and crude sandstone, all mortared together. So yeah, imagine the Salts, the Robertses, the Gateses, Hollins, you know, coming down in the summer in the best dresses, having a little picnic down here, sat out. Very nice, very nice. And then I'm going to walk around probably walk around the longer way, I think, and just along the wall, through what's all completely overgrown. Beautiful young hawthorn there. Amazing the diversity of all the trees and plants and things here, all courtesy mainly of Robert Marnock, the original landscaper, best in Europe of his time, possibly one of the best in the world. You can see the wall there. I'm not going to try and climb up there and hold the camera. I'm going to go around. And you're just going to bypass this area at the end of the Palmhouse, where it's completely thick and overgrown there. You see the wall goes all the way up there. The whole house was built onto a plateau so that they could accommodate cellars underneath, which hopefully we'll get into someday, and obviously take plenty of spider repellent. And here we go, autumn time's come. I just love this bit where the trees just grown into the into the stone, and vice versa. The stone's just sat there, rooted, pardon the pun, edge of the conservatory, and its lovely carpet of leaves. Probably get swept next week. We're back. Conservatory main exit into the rose garden. Oh, roses seem to be doing nicely. Yeah, they're looking a lot healthier now. And then we go past the orangerie, the potting shed, and slip out the other side of the conservatory. And around here, this carpet is absolutely gorgeous. All different colours. All nature, going back to nature, back to the earth, keep everything growing. So the billiard room would have been there. The billiard room was only ground floor story, had its own roof, so it was like an annex. The actual wall, outer wall of the west side of the building would have ended here, and then the billiard room would be built on there at the side. And over here next to it would have been Titus Salt Jr.'s wood turning room with his lathe, water powered lathe, and behind that is his office. What we're going to see now is what's been uncovered in terms of this area, and you can see there's some nicely finished pieces of stone here, all manner of shapes and sizes and so on. And at the top of this mound, let's get up here, we've spent quite a bit of effort between us, especially Carl and Chrissy, to dig this out. So the big slab at the bottom would have sat right in there. That would be the base of a window going up. These steps have been dug out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps down there, and that would have led out into the back courtyard right there. Obviously all this rubble and so on has been accumulated over here. If I just hop over here, you can see exactly how that archway, that door would have looked. I'm going to step down here. You can see there the amazing building work, attention to detail. There hardly seems to be any mortar between a lot of these bricks, but they're that big and that heavy that, yeah, they probably just had just enough to keep it all in place. And this is solid. Things don't get built like this anymore. There was no expense spared. And you can see behind walls and brickwork leading round, everything there, that's possibly a headstone for the part of the, or up to the headstone for what would have been a arched doorway here. So now we'd be entering into the building, and look what's happened. You've got these roots here all the way across, and that's I believe it's probably this tree here. Oh, if that's two trees together. And yeah, when we were digging this out, when Chris was digging out yesterday, she said, well, there's something here, and I'd hit something with a spade as well, and it's like, wow, that's needs to be left in place. And nature's reclaimed things, and this as well, another root there, absolutely amazing. It's just gone the whole way through the wall, just pushed its way through and on. So we get to this point, you can see the cornice, the side. This is just probably a ton or so of rubble in there. It's mostly dirt and sand and just rock and sandstone that's crumbled over the years and degraded and crumbled down into sandy, pebbly mess in there. There's huge Yorkshire stone slabs. Looks like they just threw everything in here at the time of demolition. You can see up there, I'm going to go up in a minute, but you can just see some of the ironworks. And obviously we're taking great care that the trees that are here that are in this habitat at the moment, taking great care not to go anywhere near them. Yeah, we've got dressed stone here, those all familiar black and red bricks. All the iron, bits of iron chimney pot there. Everything that we've found, we've picked out, we've left and just reclaimed it. So this wall here, I believe there would have been a window there of some sort which faced down into the billiard room or in between. So this corridor would have led right there, and that would have been Titus Salt Jr.'s office, where he did all his dealings, probably his paperwork, wrote his letters, planned things for the mill, for the family, and then later obviously the Hollinses, the Gates and Roberts of course as well. So yeah, this is the romance of history really. Imagine the stuff that would have gone in there. And again, his window would have looked out here over the back courtyard, I presume, so you could see whoever was coming through the courtyard. So if he had visitors or if something was going on, he'd probably be one of the first to know. So yeah, that's we had quite a lot of fun digging that piece out, and we managed to flip it over. But yeah, it was fun to do. We've got some of the original timber here. It's very wet and will just literally crumble because it's wet from weathering and age, if you see that. Although Andrew was saying he'd taken a big piece home to dry out. They dried it out in fresh air in a sunny spot for quite a few days, a while, and it had literally solidified again. So he just left it longer in the hope that it, you could then treat it with maybe some linseed, a varnish, and so on. So the rubble of this rampart that goes over, so here would be kind of up to the ground floor. I'm just going to step over carefully because some of this might be a little bit loose. And here we go. Digging down into this has been quite a job. So yeah, lots of bits of chimney pot, pipe work, so on. And then over here, I cut this one out yesterday. It's in beautiful condition. This bit of stone here, it's a hell of a block as well. So yeah, I'm stood right now, actually standing. You can see the rest of the wall there. I'm actually standing right here in the window that we presume would have looked down onto into the billiard room. Of course, you see there's only one picture out there, the billiard room, and it looks massive. I don't know if it's a perspective the photo was taken from, but it looked pretty big. But I guess quite a big room, but it was a high ceiling as well. And as a first floor annex, it was probably he was able to do that because it would have gone up above, slightly above the first floor, so it seemed a lot bigger. And of course, that is where Titus Salt passed away, aged 43, 44, I think. And it's also where the billiard room was, where when the royals came to visit, later King Henry VII and his wife and the others, they had a special games board put up with like the royal names on, so you could play billiards, and they had the board specially made to commemorate that as well. Nice touch. Mr. Salt, he knew how to impress his friends and impress people as well. So yeah, the trees have grown over the top of here, so it's probably impossible to get right down into that space of these rooms that was the office. But I think that's a pretty good start, to be fair. And right, I think I've only got one more thing to show you before we actually carry on with this, and it is right down here. So I'll be walking down here to foundations of the there we go. Foundations of the back porch, and then we'll be walking through the house here, so you can literally get straight through if you wanted to. You can imagine the children using that as a shortcut, and the servants telling them off, and then they'd be stood here, right about here at the front door. And then obviously this is all grown in the way over the steps down. That's near to where we started out. So again, as I always say to people, the house wasn't that deep really, but it was quite long breadthways. And yeah, that's about it for now. There's plenty more secrets in that great big mound there, and yeah, I'm sure in time we will get to some of those, although it's getting late October now, and the cold and wet weather is starting to sit in a bit. You get a lot of the birds migrating back soon over the winter. Some go, some come, some go. It's a strange thing, but it's nice here at sunset when the birds are singing. It's beautiful. So there we are, all the way back to the conservatory. I think I'd shown some of the marks here. There's a couple of stones here, I've shown that one before. There's a couple more somewhere, but for the life of me, can't remember where they are right now. But they're around here somewhere. They keep popping up, those. They keep on popping up. Yeah, see here on top of the house. There you go. We are. It's all just full of rocks and bricks and tree roots and lots and lots of earth that goes down there. That's where the lintel is. And that's a collection of fragmented chimney pots. It's nice. It's turned out nice again, hasn't it? Eee, there's not many windows to clean air, is there? Nesting down there. Have you got a nest down there?
What is it?
Moth, big moth.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're just going to stay there out of our way, aren't you?
Is it a spider?
No, it's a moth, big moth.
Oh my
Don't
word.
blame it either.
Have you seen this?
It is, it's like,
Well, that's a good thing.
there's room under there for spiders, you know. Probably a lot worse. Probably is. Probably a whole family nesting in there.
You alright? Big
No, isn't it?
That's a piece of a window.
Do you think it's one of the middle bits?
Yeah. Or is it a column?
finger in there.
I'm thinking column going up or a window.
I think it's the centre of a window.
Because look at underneath, it's got another.
We need to see close-ups of those windows if we ever can.
I think that might have been because there's no mats on this.
Well, yeah, it's sooty on this side, isn't
The
it?
underside's perfectly clean. There's no mortar or nothing on it.
Yeah.
It's just. Houses. That's from there.
Yeah, because there's one down there, you know, exactly the same, but it's obviously it's been outside,
Right.
moss all over it, whereas that one's practically perfect. I always call, oh yeah, no,
I
it's
reckon
not,
that weighs nearly as
it's
much
not,
as.
it's different, because the other one looks like a T, that's not a T,
No.
so maybe that one was part.
A nice piece by Stephanie Smith, Francis Brodie. Really beautifully written article. Good to bring these things back to people's imagination.